morning, everyone. If you are watching this video, it's for one of three reasons. One, that the technology of demonstrating software in a live presentation has somehow failed me. Two, that you weren't able to attend the Zoom session and you would like to learn this information, which is good. Or three, you were able to attend the Zoom session and you just want to be able to review things at your own pace. And all three of those are really good justifications for why we should do our primary lesson content asynchronously with a program like Screencastify. The technology will fail you when you least expect it. I found over the years it has a way of betraying you. So be prepared, have a backup plan. Two, sometimes our students, for a variety of reasons, will not be able to attend the Zoom session, but still need the lesson content and all the benefits that come from you explaining or guiding them through the lesson content. And three, of course, that students just want to be able to review at their own pace. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing that we need to do, of course, is to add a couple of extensions so that this will all work. And I know I'm just a disembodied voice right now. There's a reason for that, in that I am recording the demonstration of this software using other screen capturing software, which is kind of like the Inception movie. It's like a screen capturing within screen capturing. But you'll see my face here in just a second. So let's get the extensions first. Up here at the top of my browser, up here in the top right corner, you see these are some of the extensions that I have already installed for Chrome. Extensions are just like apps that you would add to your phone to extend its functionality. The Chrome browser does a lot of things right out of the box right after you install it. But there sometimes are other features, especially now for distance learning, that we would want our Chrome browsers to have. And you can see some of those up here, like the ad blocker for YouTube or the Bitmoji extension, so I can use Bitmoji. But in this case, we're going to add in two extensions, the EdPuzzle one and the Screencastify one, which you see right here. So if you're not familiar with extensions, or if you're not seeing them here pinned to the taskbar, just go ahead here in the top right corner, right by your avatar, and click on this little puzzle piece. At least I think it's a puzzle piece. I've always thought it was a puzzle piece. Click on that and you can see the extensions that you have installed, and you can pin them or unpin them to the taskbar. You can see as I'm clicking the pin, it adds that extension and takes it away. And those are the extensions that I already have installed. If you have never installed an extension, then it's really simple. So let's just go ahead, bear with me if you already know how to do this. If you click on a new browser tab and just go to the Chrome store and click on that link, this will take you to the extensions that you can add. Definitely add Netflix Party, right? So you can share your Netflix account with me and we can watch movies together during quarantine. So the first one that we want to add is Screencastify. So all you have to do is type in the search box Screencastify, and that will get you to the extension. Click on it. And for you, if you don't have it installed, it will say add to Chrome or install to Chrome right here. All you have to do is click on it and the extension will be added. In my case, I already have it. And then the next one that we want to add is EdPuzzle. And we won't be spending too much time with EdPuzzle today. I just wanted to show you a couple of things that this extension will get to you. And again, just add it to Chrome using this button right here, and then you're good to go. Okay, so you have extensions, and if you're not seeing them, like I said before, just pin them, click on the puzzle piece, and then you can pin them to your taskbar. And then to use any of them, all you have to do is click on it. Just want to point out something right here at the bottom of the screen, and then I promise you're going to see me on a webcam here in just a sec. These are the two things that some of my extensions have added to YouTube. Okay, you won't see these if you don't have these extensions. One is just this little pop-up that says, hey, this video has been cleaned with AdBlock for YouTube, which is that extension right there. And then the other one is a button that allows me to edit this video with EdPuzzle right away. Okay, if you've used EdPuzzle before and have always wanted to use a YouTube video, but didn't want to go to the trouble of having to, find a program that downloads the YouTube video for you, which is really just a pain in the butt and a bunch of extra steps. This extension that we just added allows you to just go right into EdPuzzle and add your questions to the YouTube video right away for your students. So that's a great feature right there. But we're really primarily here for Screencastify. So let's go ahead and talk about that. So I found the video that I want to work with. Okay, say I'm creating some content for my animation class and we want to talk about one of the principles of animation, which is known as squash and stretch. So I found my video content and I've watched the video and I think the video does a pretty good job of explaining the concepts, but I can see there are a couple of warning flags in the video where I know that if I were demonstrating live in class, I would want to stop the video, point out some things, get out my laser pointer and show off some features of the video, or pause just to check for understanding, all those good teachery things that we all do. That's what Screencastify allows me to do. So I'm up here in the top right hand corner. If you can follow my mouse, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Screencastify. That's going to open up this box right here in the top right hand corner. These are a few settings that you're going to want to set before you start your recording. One up here at the top, you can see you have 3 different recording choices. You can record from your desktop, which basically is going to record everything that's currently up on that particular screen. You can record from a browser tab, which is basically like this is a browser tab right here in the top left corner. This whole thing is the browser tab. You can record just that, or you can record just your webcam, any of those options. Okay, so I'm going to record from the desktop right now. Underneath those settings, you have some other settings, and this is a toggle switch. You can toggle it on and off by clicking on it. In this case, this is the toggle on, right, just like a light switch. And I can set what microphone I want to use. This is a drop down. If you click on it, you can see that you'll have different options. Okay, so I have mine selected, and I can see that the audio is coming through very, very clearly. I can embed my webcam, which I'm going to turn on in just a sec. You can have your choices there as well. In this case, I only have one camera available to me. And then under here, before we start the recording, we want to go into seeing a few more options. Okay. Under the desktop, I have the option to add a brief countdown for myself, just so I can take a deep breath before I start recording. You could set that to 3 seconds, 5 seconds, or 10 seconds, depending on what you need. 3 is usually fine for me. You can show the drawing tools, which are annotation tools for the video, which I will demonstrate in just a bit. And then system audio. So if the content that you're sharing with your students or that you're teaching about has audio itself, you're going to want to turn this on. So in this case, this YouTube video does have audio, right? It does have a narrator who's walking through the concepts. So I'm going to turn that on right here. You have the same thing if you were going to go in the browser tab. It just says tab audio instead. It's the same idea though. Whatever is embedded on the tab, or if you're recording, say, a Skype conversation or even a Zoom call, or a Zoom session, you're going to turn tab audio on. Okay, so I'm going to go back here to the desktop. Before we start recording, we're just one step away from that right now. I do want to point out a couple of things here in settings. So if I go up to the top corner of the Screencastify and click on the gear, you're going to see I have a couple of advanced settings, and normally I would steer a novice user away from them. But in this case, there's one that's, I think, pretty important, and that's this limit resolution of the recording. We live in a very high def world, and we tend to want to think that, okay, I want as high a definition as possible so it looks really great. The problem is our students are going to be watching videos on a Wi-Fi connection most of the time, which means that if we have high resolution, right, if we're going to record in high definition like 1080p or even 720p, it's going to cause videos to stutter for students, or it will lag, they'll miss content. So I would recommend that you dial things down. You could certainly, right, if your content doesn't have a lot of finely detailed imagery, you can go down low. But I think this one here, the 480p, is a nice middle ground between quality and a small file size. So I would definitely do that. This resize tab is really about just resizing the web browser tab, but I'm going to keep that at full size right now. This is the resolution that we really care about. Okay, and then of course, anytime you see the three bars, that means you're going to have extra, settings to get help, to go to the editor, which we will get to in a little bit, and access to all of the recordings that you've ever done with Screencastify. Those are all there. All right, so let's start recording. Okay, so the idea is I'm ready to start teaching my lesson, and I hit the record button. Okay, it's going to ask me which screen. I happen to have two monitors, which screen I want to record. So I'm just going to select screen 1, share audio is turned on, and I want to hit share. Okay, so it's giving me my content. So I'm actually recording right now. My lesson is beginning. So I'm just going to point out a couple things. One is this is my webcam. I can left click and drag it anywhere that I want to in the screen. Okay, so if I happen to be at a portion of the lesson where my webcam would be blocking maybe part of the text or part of the image, I can move it around really quickly, and that gets recorded. I can do other things to the to the webcam once we're in that particular mode, but the main one is to be able to move it around the screen. Down here in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, you have a bunch of options. These are your drawing tools or annotation tools. So let's talk about a few things. This pause button right here pauses the recording temporarily. Say you feel a sneeze coming on and you just want to pause it real quick, or you feel like you're losing your train of thought and you don't want to lose the whole rest of your recording. Just pause it briefly, and then you can start recording again by hitting the play button. The stop recording, it's one of those things that's not really intuitive because it's hidden. You have to pause it first, and then you can end the recording. So that's that. So I'm going to continue the recording. The mouse pointer is basically just a normal mouse cursor so that you can follow along. You may be recognizing that one of the things that I'm doing is whenever I move the mouse is I'm trying to call your attention to it. So I'll sometimes say, hey, up here in the top right hand corner, and I'll move the mouse around. That's just good practice. Those of us who've been teaching technology to students for a while know that that's kind of a good thing to do, just to call their attention to where your mouse is first, and then maybe even move it, and then show them what to click on, because otherwise they'll miss it. Now, you're probably seeing that the mouse is disappearing after a while, because that's a feature that's built into Screencastify. It's called hide cursor when not moved, which is usually what you want. Okay, when your cursor is moving, you want them to be able to see it, and when it's not, you want it to be hidden. That happens automatically with that button right there. While we're on the mouse pointer, let's talk about a few other features that are kind of cool. I can do focus mouse, which basically dims the rest of the screen and creates this little spotlight around the mouse so that I can point out certain things that I want students to look at. I can turn that off again right there, so that's focus mouse. And then I can do highlight clicks, which basically means every time I
Hey guys, so I decided to make a video series dedicated to the 12 principles of animation as described by the...
So you're probably hearing the audio from the YouTube video there, but the point I wanted to call your attention to was the mouse click. Okay, so when we click the mouse, you can kind of see it right now. It creates this little red radar ping. It's just another attention getter so that students see that, oh, right, the teacher has actually clicked on something. So those are the mouse pointer features right there. The next, I'm going to turn the highlight clicks off for a sec. The next tool is the pen tool. And I'm just going to actually move forward in the video just a little bit so I have something to draw on. So that's basically how we would do this, right? We would show the video in class.
The legendary animators Frank Thomas and Ollie Johnston. So the first
And he's
principle is
talking.
squash and stretch.
Squash and
This is the
stretch.
principle that animated objects will get longer or flatter to emphasize their speed, momentum, weight, and mass.
Okay, so let's try and I'll back up the video, right? That where it says speed, momentum,
weight, and mass.
So maybe I want to actually stop here and maybe define these terms for my students. I'm trying to be a good teacher there and not assume that they understand speed, momentum, weight, and mass. So I'll move my picture away here, and I'll grab the pen tool. And the pen tool has a color slider, so you can decide on whatever color you like. And now you can say, all right, so what we mean by speed is this cool definition. And now what we mean by momentum is this. And weight refers to blah, blah, blah. And mass is this other thing. So these are all qualities that are part of squash and stretch. Anyway, I'm going to do all that good teachery stuff. Say I want to erase those now. I can just switch over to the eraser tool and erase those from off the video. All of this is getting recorded onto your Screencastify. I can go back to the pen tool, I can change the color, I can do all kinds of cool drawings. I can say, who's this handsome guy? And draw an arrow. I can erase. Okay. Now, if you're expecting, other fancy features like that, you really don't have it in Screencastify. It's pretty bare bones, but it's enough for what we would want to do in terms of recording the screen and teaching things. We basically just need to call our students' attention to certain things. This button here is to embed the webcam on or off, and this will just hide the tools, but I'm going to keep the tools visible. Now, chances are you're probably wondering, hey, but what if I don't want them to, what if I only want them to see this screen and not all this other stuff all around here? I don't want them to be able to see what I'm searching for on YouTube, and I don't want them to have to see these drawing tools. Well, that's going to come later when we edit the video. Okay, so let's assume I have gotten to the end of the video and we talked about squash and stretch and we've done all of our really good annotations and we've called our students' attention to things and just done an amazing job with our teaching, and we've learned about squash and stretch and volume and all that, and the lesson is concluded.
Not overdo squash and stretch.
Yeah, don't overdo squash and stretch. And I'm just going to erase this guy. And what you'll notice is that if I scrub back through, grab the pointer again, if I scrub back through the video, okay, I can return to any point that I want to go back to and revisit because I have a little bit of extra time. Whatever I want to do, all of that is being recorded onto the video. Okay. Then you are done, right? You're done with the lesson. You've proceeded through the video. You hit pause first, and then you hit stop to end the recording. And then what's going to happen is you're going to see, this is now the video, okay, that I recorded earlier, right? So that's why it's out of sync and you're not seeing my face and the thing's moving around on the screen, right? This is now the video that Screencastify recorded. So I'm going to hit pause on it right now. If you're not hearing the audio, you just click to the lesson where my webcam would be blocking maybe part of the text or part of. Okay, so that was the audio from the earlier part of the lesson. You can see over here in the top right-hand corner, you can see that right now that video unedited is being saved to Google Drive. It's just automatic. You can't stop it. It's something that it has to do first. Okay, and we haven't edited the video yet. We're going to do that right now. But before we do, I want to just call your attention to some of the share options that are available here. If you've just used Screencastify for the first time, you're not going to see Upload to EdPuzzle here. So I want to show you what to do to get that. And that is you go into More Options, and then you're going to go to Add More Share Options. If you click on that, I'm not going to do it right now, but click on it. You'll see that there's a little toggle switch that says EdPuzzle, and once you do that and come back here, then you'll see this Upload to EdPuzzle be available to you. In general, like you're going to look for this icon. That means that's kind of become the universal symbol for sharing. You can upload this video in its raw form right to Google Classroom, or you can publish it to your YouTube channel. You can generate a QR code for students to be able to download it. You can send it in an email. There's lots of options for you right here. But what I want to do is I want to edit it before I send it on its merry way. So I'm just going to open in Editor right here. We at Santa Rosa City Schools, right, we have, through the generosity of our district, we have been given the upgraded Screencastify, which allows us to have this editor, which is really nice. Appreciate the district for doing that for us. So we open it up in the editor, and then you're going to get this window that says that it's loading your recording. And that brings us to the editing video. If you've used iMovie before or other video editing software, this setup should be familiar. What you have is this is the video itself, the raw video. This down here at the bottom of the screen, this is the timeline. This is a zoom slider over here in the bottom right-hand corner. This is a zoom slider that allows you to just see more of the project or less of the project. Okay, I typically like to just get the whole thing there in one view. I can hit play here to, okay, so it's giving me my content. So I'm actually recording right now. My lesson is beginning. Okay, so that's my video. I can also just hit the space bar. I'm just going to point to play and pause. Okay, so to actually activate some of these tools here that are not quite available to me yet, I need to select the clip, and you can see you get this little yellow highlight. Now I can do some things, and the big one that I want to do is I want to crop. Okay, so I'm going to click the crop tool, and now it says draw a rectangle to crop clip. And this is where I want to get rid of all of this. I don't want them to see the drawing tools or my browser window or the search box in YouTube. I just want this. So I'm going to left click and drag a box around this area. And then I come here to the bottom right hand corner. Right, if I make a mistake, I can hit reset. I come down here to the bottom and I hit done. And what that's going to do is it gets rid of all that other stuff, and it's amazing. It's just pure video and amazing teacher with webcam. It's awesome. All right, so let's talk about a couple of things that you can do. If you say the beginning of your video was a little rough, you can left click and drag right here to trim some of it off. And then you just let go and it trims it. You can trim some of the back of it off if you like, and then it trims that. If you decide you want to actually trim somewhere in the middle here, like this was a part where you messed up or you got a little frazzled or you accidentally swore or somebody came into interrupted your video, you just click right in the part that you want to start the trim, and you hit cut. And then you can actually trim out the little piece that you didn't want. Okay, so that's what that is for. Okay, so we've done the cropping, we've done the cutting that allows us to trim. Those little handles there at the end, you can see with the little dots, that tells you that you can trim on either side. You can zoom in. So say there's a part, say right here, where I want to zoom in on the boot for some reason. Click the clip, hit zoom, and now you can define a space that you want it to zoom to. Now you can't change the shape of it because the aspect ratio has to be maintained the same. But you can make it proportionally bigger or smaller. And over here in the top right-hand corner, you can see I can set a transition speed, right? Half a second in, half a second out. You can change that as much as you like. And so what that's going to do is when the video hits this point in the video, it's going to zoom in to this um, to to this new size and stay there for as long as you want. So if you want it to stay longer, you come down, click on the little zoom guy and say, okay, stay zoomed in for a little bit longer. And now if you hit play, that they understand speed, momentum, weight, and mass. So I'll move my picture away here, and I'll grab the pen tool. And the pen tool has a color slider, so you can decide on whatever color you like. And now you can say, all right, so what we mean by speed is, so obviously that was a bad zoom, right? Because I zoomed away from what I was trying to emphasize, but you get the point. That's a good, useful thing to have. You can decide, you can move that zoom to a different spot if you want to, or delete it, right, by clicking it and hitting the trash icon. And then the last thing that you're going to want to be able to do as an edit is add text. Okay, amazing text. And you have normal text features just like in any word processor. You can make it bold, you can italicize it, you can underline it, whatever you like. If you decide that, hey, the box needs some space on either side, you can certainly add extra spaces by clicking before or after it and hitting the space bar a couple times. You can highlight the text and change its color with this button right here. Make it purple. Amazing, amazing text. Or you can add a box or a color to the box. I'm going to be really obnoxious here. Oh yeah, there's my text. So it appears here at this point. So the video plays and plays and plays and will appear at this point. If you want it to stay longer, just left click and drag on the end of it, and now it'll stay active for longer. So it goes here. The next, I'm going to turn to this point off for a sec. The next tool is the pen tool. There's my amazing text. Move forward in the video just a little bit so I have some video in class.
The legendary animators Frank Thomas and Ollie Johnston. So the first principle is squash and stretch. This is a principle that animated objects will get longer or flatter to emphasize their speed.
Okay, so there you see both features available, the text and the zoom in at the same time. And again, I can put the text at a different spot. I can delete it altogether if I want by hitting the trash icon. And then I look at my video, I've watched it a couple times, and I've decided, yep, 5 minutes and 51 seconds. Oh, maybe that's a little bit too long. And you trim off more of the back. Maybe I want to get it right exactly to 5 minutes. Just make sure that, you know, your video has a nice ending to it, a nice conclusion. But this is now the whole project, and you're ready to export it. Okay, and so that's where this button comes in to play right here. So I hit export, and you have two choices. You can export it as an MP4 or directly to Google Drive, your choice. Right, MP4 is just the video file, right? Like an MP3 is an audio file, MP4 is a video file with audio. Or you can export it to your Google Drive, which that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hit export to Google Drive, and then I'm going to just call this one test number 10, because I've been practicing a lot for today's demonstration. And it's going to process this video. And this part will probably take a little while because of the length of the video. So, and it's going to say you can share a link to your video right now, but if you share right away, and people try and click on the link that you share, it will probably say we still have to process this video. So I usually wait. And the other reason that we're going to wait is there's going to be another option that will become available right here, okay, because that will allow you to share it directly to EdPuzzle or to Google Classroom, that's what we really want. Okay, but if you're just impatient and you don't want to wait for the processing of the video, then you can just hit share right away, and you're going to get those links. But I'm just going to sit here and chill until the video is fully processed. Hope it won't take too long. And meanwhile, I'm going to continue continue talking. Oh, look, it's making the big jump. So hopefully all of that was pretty straightforward. There aren't a lot of bells and whistles to Screencastify, and that's actually, I think, a good feature in that you don't have to be overwhelmed by possibilities and different things to click on. Instead, you just have a few simple choices that are the ones that you're most likely to use. So cool. Now it says done. And again, I still have that share. If I hit share, it's just going to give me a link to copy. But what I want to do is I want to view this. So it's going to open it into the Screencastify app. And this is now where I can see the finished product. And if I'm not hearing it, I can move it around the screen. Click to unmute. And you can, if I scroll forward, you can see all the different things that we did in the principles of animation and all that, and the zoom in. Remember the zoom in that we added? It's all there. And this is where we can now share directly to Classroom, or we can upload it to EdPuzzle. You have more options here if you need them, but I'm going to share to Classroom, and you're going to get this box that appears. All you have to do is select the class that you want to add it to. I'm going to just dump it in here for a sec, and I can choose an action. I can make it as an assignment, or I can make it as a material. Okay, a material for students to watch, or an assignment that they actually do something with. So I'm just going to create it as a material, and I hit go, and then I have some more options here. And if you've been using Google Classroom, this should all look really familiar, right? Things are tightly integrated, which is really nice. I can put in a description. Hey, kids, watch this. I can put it under a particular topic, so you can see I've arranged certain topics for my class. And then all I have to do is post it, and it will be available to my classroom. So I'm going to close that right now and not post it. And if I wanted to, I can now upload it to EdPuzzle. So I'll do the same thing. Go to EdPuzzle, and it says here, click on Google Drive button to start uploading. So I can do that. And this part will also take a while, so I'm actually going to stop this video here because this really isn't an EdPuzzle video. But what will happen is EdPuzzle will open up, and then you can start adding in your questions. So you have the additional layer of not only have you shown students the video lesson content, you have supported them with your own thoughts and annotations and highlighting your teaching. And now you can, with EdPuzzle, check for their understanding by adding those multiple choice questions or open-ended questions for them to respond to. And if you only use multiple choice questions, then EdPuzzle will actually do the scoring for you and automatically connect it to Google Classroom. It just, those three pieces are really nicely integrated. Okay, so I hope that was all useful to you. I know the video was a little bit long, but it basically has all the essentials ready to go for you.